Blessed to know the best at all times. Oh my God, it's your guy Rhett with that pretty left hook hitting you in your goddamn liver. Kamaru Usman's in the building, y'all. Kamaru, first and foremost, how does it feel to be in New York City?
Man, I love it. I love it. Only for a short period of time, though. Only for a short period of time. This city crazy for me, man. I'm envious of how you guys live this life and continue the day-to-day. So I'm loving it right now, but I can't wait to be out once I'm done. I've seen Africans in places I'm like, what? What are you doing here?
Right.
In Scotland. I was in Scotland.
You seen
and
Africans
there was Africans there. In Scotland.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, not just Africans, Nigerians in Scotland there as well.
It's funny you say that. I was actually at the fight when I think Rich Franklin fought Okami in Belfast, Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Mad Africans in Belfast, Northern Ireland, by the way.
It's crazy. We're everywhere, man. We're survivors.
Right.
We're in a situation, you can't hold us down for too long. We're going to find a way to get to a certain point to elevate ourselves up.
Absolutely.
And that's just part of what I'm bringing to this. I'm letting them know that not only are we doing it every other scene in the world, we're hustling, but we're hustling here too. So I'm going to bring that title back to Africa.
You still have a lot of family? And it's what, Benin City where you're born, correct?
Benin, all my extended family's there.
Wow.
Here, I just have mom, dad, brothers, and sisters.
Nice. What do they think about
uncles.
your profession, your chosen profession? Because I know, let's keep it real, a lot of Africans are like, you're going to school.
Facts.
Doctor, lawyer.
Facts.
Bring me back some real bread. That's a guarantee. We're not playing these
Facts.
games.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's it.
We got to speak on the culture.
And that's how I was raised. That's how I was bred.
Right.
But this was just kind of, like I mentioned, this was something that I chose to do. Like, I'm educated.
You did say that.
I'm educated. I can go that route as well. But I chose to do this. This was something extracurricular. This was something that I chose. So I'm going to do this. And for the first couple of years, my parents didn't know that I was into.
I was about to ask you what mom and dad feel about this.
Yeah, they didn't know that I was into combat sports.
Okay.
So I hid this from them for a couple years. It wasn't until my mom caught me wrestling on TV.
What?
I was wrestling at the city championships, and then she saw that. And then, so by that point,
did they know before you went pro or after you went pro?
Well, when I was wrestling at this time in high school, that was the first time they saw me do it, wrestling.
Right.
And so at that point, I was already kind of good. So it was like, oh, well, it seemed like he's pretty good at that. He's on TV. I saw myself on TV.
Absolutely.
To where, so they kind of became a little more accepting to where my dad actually came to the state tournament my senior year to watch me.
Right.
So that kind of pushed it a little forward to where they were a little bit more accepting.
Right.
And then once I took it forward, went to college with it, it was
right.
like, oh, well, this is gonna pay for college.
Right.
Do that. So they were a little more
He's
accepted.
winning.
Yeah, he's winning. So it came a little more accepted. And then when I got to college, I took off even more to where it's like, oh, he's one of the best in the country now.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as you're achieving,
as
the
long
African mom and dad is not tripping at all.
Absolutely. Yeah. As long as you're pushing forward, you're making waves, and you're on the right path.
Right.
And plus, it was a distraction. It took me away from all the extracurricular activities that can plague an American-born,
of course,
youth or child. So now I'm not into the whole video game life, the whole hanging with friends that might be doing the wrong activities.
Right.
I'm not into that life. Now I'm actually doing school and facing this sport that's taking me places.
Absolutely.
And so they were okay with it. And of course, they're really reluctant. Even when I decided to make the choice to go into mixed martial arts, they were like, that's dangerous. Nah, let's just go to med school. Like, nah, that's dangerous. Don't do that.
Sure.
They're still pushing for that.
Of course.
So, but at that point, I'm a grown man, mom and dad.
Even
though I ain't say it to them, I was like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. So I chose to go into MMA, and it was tough the first couple of years because you got to grind it out.
Big time.
Everyone sees you at the top. At this moment now, you interviewing me. Everyone sees that.
That's right.
But they don't understand the grind that you had to grind through for the last couple of years to even get to the point where somebody might want to know you or interview you or something like that. So It was rough, but this was always the plan, was to be at this point, to have this platform.
And I love what you said about how the wrestling mat kept you out of the streets, so to speak, or even doing things like playing games, things that would be more idle. Because I think a lot of folks are always thinking like LeBron James lifestyle, or not everybody's going to be 6'4", get it cracking with football. And a lot of times, folks of color might not be as exposed to the wrestling mat. I mean, how did you even first get exposed to wrestling?
That's a great question, because I didn't even know about wrestling. When I was growing up, wrestling that I knew was jumping off the top rope, getting hit with the chair.
Exactly.
So my
soap
freshman
opera.
year, it was funny. It was funny. To where I learned about it. My freshman year, my freshman year, I learned about it. My freshman year, it was funny. My freshman year, my freshman year, it was funny. 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 My freshman year, I learned about it. My freshman year, I was actually in band. I was in a marching band, so I played the trumpet. Shout out to all my trumpet players.
I think that might be an exclusive, man. Kamaru Usman.
Shout out to all the trumpet players out there.
Right.
So I was getting my Louis Armstrong on back at that time, and I was I snuck into the school one summer because we were doing the band camp during the summer, and it was blistering hot in Texas, and I forgot my water this day. So I'm burning up, so I had to sneak into school. The school wasn't open yet, so it was summer break, so I had to sneak into school to get some water. So while I'm in the school, the head wrestling coach was in there. And so I'm at the water fountain getting water, and this guy's walking up to me, and I'm 5'1", 103 pounds.
Okay.
Going freshman year. Mm-hmm. And he sees me, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing in school?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just getting a drink." I'm scared, like, damn, I just got busted. So I'm like, I'm just getting a drink. So he's like, "Oh, yeah." And I'm looking at him, and he got shoulders. He got some shoulders on him. Got the bust cut. I'm like, you could tell military guy when they, So that's the demeanor he gave off. So I'm like, I'm just getting a drink of water. He's like, "Oh, have you wrestled before?" I'm like, "Nah, man, I didn't want to get hit with chairs." That's exactly my response. Like, "Nah, man, I don't want to get hit with chairs and things like that.
Keep the turnbuckles away."
Yeah, I'm like, I ain't trying to do all that. And so he kind of laughed. He's like, "Why don't you come in and try it out? Just come in. You're not gonna get hit with a chair or nothing like that. Come in and try it out." But I still didn't know what to expect. Right. So I'm the cool cat. I'm like, wrestling, I ain't doing that stuff. I'm gonna play football, basketball. Maybe run track here and there, but football and basketball, that's it. Absolutely. That's my ticket. Right. I'm 5'2", 103 pounds. Right. So going into that freshman year, football wasn't working out. I live in I'm in Texas now.
Yeah, there's some big dudes in Texas.
It's a football state. So
absolutely.
I just remember I took this bad hit. It was like 3 games left in the season. Of course, I was on B team because I'm 5'2", 100 pounds. I wasn't going places. I took this bad hit, and I just remember laying there, looking up at the sun, and I'm screaming out every word every cuss word in my mind I could think of, and I'm like, "Yo, this ain't it. This ain't working. Like I gotta find something else." Right. And they kept every now and then they'll see me in the hallways. They're like, "Why don't you come in, come try it out?" So I remember one day I peeked my head in the room, and he was like 70 dudes in there, sweating, like just slamming each other. And it's if you've never been in a wrestling room, there's an odor, there's a stench that you get. And I'm not necessarily it's a bad odor, it's a stench that just it represents so many things. It represents all that hard work that these people are doing, putting in, and the sweat and just that stench. And I was just like, "Nope, not me. Nah, I'm not. I can't get down with that."
You gotta Febreze the wrestling room for Kamaru.
Yo, facts. I'm like, "Nah, I can't get down with that." Right. And then they kept digging at me, poking at me. And then one day I was just like, "You know what, man? I'm already feeling like football ain't gonna be it. Okay. Cause I'm so small. I'm gonna go in and try it out." Right. So I just went in myself one day, and I remember getting beat up by this girl. This girl smashed me. I'm talking, she double-legging me, slamming me on my neck, right. Putting me in holds. Yeah. And and the thing about wrestling at that stage, and when you're a freshman, that's the age where you're hitting puberty. Absolutely. And so obviously we know girls mature faster than boys. True. So some of the girls are already there. They can compete at this time. Now it's almost equal. And this girl is just pummeling me, slamming me, throwing me around, putting me in holds. I knew nothing. And the thing about wrestling at that point, it's not a fight, but it is a fight. Right. Because if you don't know the techniques to defend yourself, you're in trouble. Right. And this girl I just remember her smashing me. And at that point, I used to walk home after school. And I remember walking home every day, and I would think to myself, "I'm going to fuck that chick up tomorrow. I'm going to come back. I'm going to get her. So I would come back, and she smashed me the next day. Come back, smash me the next day.
Yo, I love what you said.
But my mind, the whole time, my mentality was, "I'm going to fuck this chick up." The next day. I kept coming. And next thing you know, it's been a month now. And we getting into it one day. We just getting into it heavy, and I don't even remember. I was just fighting from life. I was getting it, and boom, I threw her in this move called the headlock. Boom, and I remember hitting her down, holding her down, and I'm squeezing her, and the coaches across the room, and our coaches like to do this thing where once it's live wrestling, they just kind of sit and watch us, let us figure it out.
Right.
And he's watching, and I'm squeezing, and I'm looking at him like, yeah, motherfucker, look, I got her now. Yeah, this is girl he put on me. Yeah, I got her now. So I'm looking at him, and that practice, she still got the best of me that day, but I did one move.
Right.
You know, so I'm walking home, and I'm thinking, I'm like, yo, I learned something.
Yeah.
Yo, like I know a move now that works. I actually did it, and it worked.
Right.
So I kept coming back. I was like, I'm learning shit. I'm gonna keep coming back. I kept coming back and coming back. Next thing you know, now I knew some shit. The next year, I didn't even go off football. And it wasn't until I had my first competition, first match, which I lost, by the way. I was hooked. Because I had never done something so tiring in my life.
Right.
And one of the biggest things that separated me away from the other sports was in football, we lost a game. It's like, man, if the quarterback had threw me the ball, man, we would have won.
Right.
If my running back hadn't fumbled, we'd have won. Right. If you had blocked that dude, we'd have won. You had all these excuses. You could blame this guy and that guy and that guy. But in wrestling, it was one-on-one. It was I didn't do my job, I didn't train hard enough, or I didn't do this, I lost the match. It was no one to blame. And there was something about that to me that stuck with me. I couldn't, there was nothing else I could do. I was in love with it. I was hooked. And once I got that first medal, it was like solidified. It was
this young lady might need to be an honorary coach, man.
Yo, and you know what? I didn't know.
She put some inspiration on this.
And
this legacy.
And I didn't know until after the fact. She was a 3-time state champion.
That was your first time out.
Yeah,
wow,
she was already doing her thing. She was already at that time. She was already
Yeah.
like a two-time state champion, almost a 3.
Wow.
And the coach obviously knew. I ain't know.
Right.
And she thrashed me, but yeah, she was the real deal.
Yo, they're not playing in Texas. How they setting you up?
Nah, that's how it was basically.
I love it.
It was like he was trying to see if let me see if he got what it takes, or he's just another bust.
Absolutely.
You know, but it worked out, man. And I actually just took my coaches out to dinner last month. I was back home.
Nice.
I took them out to dinner, just let them know that you guys lit this
that's
fire.
Right. That's right.
You guys lit this fire, and on March 2nd, it's about to come to fruition.
That's big.
Yeah.
Talk about MMA. I mean, wrestling is wrestling, but at some point you said, you know what, I need another tool bag, and I'm going to enter a bigger game. What led to that maturation?
Facts. It was, like I said, it was that burning desire, that fire that was lit all the way back in high school.
Sure.
In high school, the goal was to be a state champion. I did everything in my power to try to achieve that. And unfortunately, I fell a little short. I got 3rd. But it was still burning. It was like, well, what's next?
Right.
Oh, we'll go to college now. You want to be a national champion. To when kids are saying, man, I just want to be in varsity. I just want to be All-American. I want to be a starter. I'm thinking, no, I want to be the national champion. So I'm doing everything in my power, and I achieved that. And I remember I've talked to, I actually just talked to her not too long ago, my girlfriend at the time, my college sweetheart. I remember after I won the national title that night, we were on our hotel that the whole team was staying at, and I went to a hotel bar. I think I was 22 at the time. We were at the hotel bar, and I never drank really, but it was like a special occasion. That's what people do. Usually they have a drink.
Right.
So we were sitting at the hotel bar, and I had a rum and coke, and I was sitting there. I had maybe 2 sips of it, but I just looked cool holding it in my hand, you know. So I just remember thinking the feeling. I had this feeling in me. It was like, I worked so hard for this. I put so much into this, so much thought into this. I got it. What's next?
Right.
All right, let's go see what's next. Okay, Olympics. The Olympic goal. Let's go see. I want to be the best on the planet. So I'm shortly after that, started training for the Olympics, got a bid, and I moved to the Olympic Training Center to train there full time.
Colorado.
Yeah, in Colorado Springs. And while I was there for 2 years training, a lot of different things happened, a lot of different circumstances happened, a lot of injuries, and it kind of started to mess with that motivation to want to still be a wrestler. But also a big part of that was now I was exposed to something else, MMA. That was a new thing. It was like, oh man, you could do all this, and I could still use my wrestling. Right. And I love watching boxing and watching all this, but now I can do all of that. So it was like that. A new fire, was lit. While my motivation was starting to die in wrestling, a new one was lit in this sport. And then of course when you have big brothers like Sugar Rashad Evans poking you, telling you, yo man, you could do this. Yo, come over here, come try this out. It was like, man, I had to do that. I had to go try it. Of course, you were a little scared at first.
Of course.
But, man, I jumped in. I said, man, I'm going to go in. And no better person to learn from than Sugar Rashad Evans. So I jumped in the mix with him, and the rest is history.
Nice. talking about history, Ultimate Fighter, season 21. My man took the whole bag.
Yeah, man.
Talk about that moment.
It's part of the process. You know, when I think about all the things now, I think about that. That was part of the journey. That was part of the process. Funny, because I had a season while I was living at the Olympic, training for the Olympics. I had an opportunity to be a coach on the show, of the Ultimate Fighter, season 14.
Nice.
And I was actually the wrestling coach on Team Miller. And while I was doing that, I saw this, and I was like, this reiterating, I ain't gonna do this. Nah, I ain't trying to do this. I saw how this competition was. I saw how this fighter was. You're in the house with 17, maybe 16 other guys that you were gonna have to fight at any given time.
Right.
And then it was also a social experiment, because a lot of people don't understand, while you're doing that, in that process, you have no contact with the outside world.
That's right.
You have no phones, no TV, no books, nothing, no distractions, nothing like that. So and there's no noise unless you create it. That was what was big for me, is people don't realize how much fillers we have all through the day. Absolutely. As you sit here, you have your cell phone that you could, if you're a little bored or your mind wanders, you got your cell phone that'll distract you. You got noises going on in different rooms that'll distract you. Just so many things, the car noises, the taxis, all these things that distract you, that keep you sane.
Right.
But when you're in there, there's nothing.
Right.
It's just you're just there.
Just like the tough jail.
Yeah.
D-block.
Man, D-block. You're in there. You're in the
right.
cell, and there's nothing. And it's just you and all these other people, all these, guys roaming around. And it becomes, people crack. I mean, right. It's a social experiment that takes you out of it. And
which is probably by design, clearly, because they want to.
Yeah, absolutely. They want that interaction.
Exactly.
Yeah, they want that interaction.
Right.
But I was like, after witnessing that, I was like, I'll never do the show. But then when season 21 came by, it was like Black Zillions versus American Top Team. I had no choice. It was like, yo, we need you to go out here and represent for us. And if it's one thing that was stronger than my own will, is my will to represent. And so I take a lot of pride in that. So I was a no-brainer. I had to represent my team. And when I come into something, I'm shooting for the top. I don't come in and just, okay, maybe I hope I get a contract out of this. I want to win a fight or two. Nah, I come in for the whole thing. And my team recognized that, which is why they put me up. And I went out there and got it done for us.
Yeah, and obviously now that you're established and you're in this game, wrestle-heavy offense, most would probably say, even though I'm sure you would say you're a complete fighter. But there's another guy out here. He got the best Jufro in the game, I think. His name is Ben Askren. He likes to call you Marty.
Yeah.
I think he's talking about Dragonfly Jones, or, you know what I mean? Possibly from Martin Lawrence. But I don't really know what that is. But what's up with you and this guy? What's up with the Marty shit? Like, what the fuck is going on right now?
No, see, all through life, there's nicknames. You get nicknames all through life. Somebody might call you Shorty or Kid, all your life. And through different phases of my athletic careers, I've had different nicknames. And going back to high school, when I was in high school, and my full name, a lot of people don't know what my full name is, but it's Kamaru Dean.
Okay.
But my parents call me Kamaru. And that's just my name. That's what I've been known as. So when I get to high school, and this coach is like, I want you to wrestle for me. And he's like, what's your name? So so I decided, okay, I'll try it. Right. So he gets the role, and he's looking at my name. He's like, who the fuck is this? And my coach is one of them dudes. Like, he was a Marine. So who the fuck is this? And I'm like, that's me, coach. Right. And he's like, that's your name? I'm like, yeah. He's like, nah, I'm not calling you that. I can't say that every day. Kamarudin, Kamardi. I'm going to call you Marty.
Got it.
I'm gonna call you.
So
Marty.
Marty was an actual nickname that came.
So it was
from,
a nickname
okay.
that came from. Wrestling. It's not a lot of brothers doing wrestling.
Got it.
It was. I think it was two of us. Me and my other boy, Aaron. We were the only brothers on the team doing it at that time. So me, Aaron, and Reggie Douglas. We were the only brothers. And so he's like, I'm just gonna call you Marty. And I mean, I'm a little 5'2" guy. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we'll roll with it.
We roll with it. I mean, you doing your thing. We roll with it. So then it became, the more I started putting in, the better. Because when they probably give you a nickname and you ain't nothing, you don't make no waves, guess what? That shit just die with you.
Facts.
But when you start to make waves, people start hearing your name.
Right.
So then it came from, now I've started being just a guy on the team, to where now I'm
Marty coming.
I'm the team.
Yeah.
I'm the team where it's like you could roll into a tournament, they see that brother, like, oh shit, that's the brother. What's his name? Marty. Oh shit, that's that Marty dude. Oh, he about to stroke everybody at this tournament.
So Askren heard about this.
So yeah, man. So I was making waves in high school, and then I got to college. Okay. I started smashing everybody in college.
Got you.
And it was a big thing in college. NCAA is 3 divisions, Division 1, 2, and 3.
Sure.
And they're all competitive, but the competition gets lesser and lesser as you go down to Division 3. And so Division 2, you still get guys that come in any given moment, beat anybody.
Sure.
And I was one of those guys. So Division 1 guys, they try to make this thing where they tend to look down on, oh, you're Division 2, you're not Division 1, even though you come in and stroke them. And so I was that guy. I was that brother that was stroking everybody. Division 1, 2, 3, NAI, it don't matter. We got you step on and you're going to have your hands full dealing with me. And so, of course, he heard about me. He was this dude that was Division 1 national champion doing his thing. Now he's moved on. Now he hear about who's that? Oh, that dude from Nebraska, that Marty dude. Damn, he's smashing everybody. So he's heard of me. You know, like a lot of people, you hear of me, which is good. I'm flattered by that. He's heard of me, but he don't know me. So my thing too is I'm that guy. Like, don't be, because nowadays, you know, we got all these internet trolls and people who like to talk. You know, that's the fad nowadays.
Shout out to Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah, that's the fad nowadays. People like to troll online. But I'm that type. I'm not that dude. I was never brought up like that.
Yeah, so but he's definitely trolling in person.
But that's the thing, though. That was the thing. Is like, if you gonna troll, it started on social media. I'm gonna troll. He started trolling just to try to get himself in a better position because I'm hot right now.
Got you.
You know, so my thing is, if you're gonna troll, when I see you, I need that same energy. Because you basically letting me know online that you got a problem with me. So I'm not doing it back and forth just to give you some clout. If you got a problem, when I see you in person, hey, keep that same energy. So when I see you, I'm gonna run up on you. And when I seen him in person, I ran up on him. I'm like, yo, what's up? You know me? And, you know, just typical him. He's like, well, I offered to fight you. I offered to fight you. Like, it wasn't all that plex and all that big problem you was talking about. That's all I need. If you got a problem, when I see you in person, please give me that problem. Give me that same energy. But it's not like that with them. They just looking for clout. They just trying to keep the name in the mix. But I don't pay them no mind, man.
No doubt. Nah. I mean, I gotta go to the next individual that seems in the same vein, which would be a Colby Covington. Is this guy? Do you have any real issues? Is this just literally again an instance of trolling, or just another guy that's just a loud mouth in the space, and you're an easy target because you're doing your thing right now?
Yeah, no, absolutely, facts. They fall in the same category.
Copy.
But Colby was first.
Yeah,
Colby was first, sure. and Colby was that guy making waves. But the thing, there's a difference between the two of them. You know, Ben Askren has successfully done what Colby Covington couldn't do. Because if you really dissect them both, Colby Covington is trying to do both. He's trying to be the troll tough guy. That doesn't really, you know, some people don't really mesh well, because a lot of the trolls, a bunch of fat dudes sitting at home in front of the computer, just nothing to do, just to try to talk shit to you, to troll you. You know, but now he's a troll tough guy, to where they don't really relate to that. He's a tough guy. He's got muscles, and he's that guy. To where Ben Askren is the idea of that. You know, you look at this guy's like, that's dad bod. This guy got a worse body than your grandma's. You know, like, this guy shouldn't be able to fight.
Shout out to grandma.
Yes, but he can do it. He's not really a fight. He's a wrestler. He can wrestle so well to where he does his thing. So a lot of trolls can relate to him. That's why they're jumping on his wagon. But they fall in line with the same thing. I don't pay them no mind. Same thing I tell them. If you got a problem with me online, when you see me, keep that same energy. Same thing, I ran up on Colby Covington. He wasn't talking all that tough talk. You know, he sat there, he kept his mouth closed. You know, he waited for security to come around. Then he started to, stick to Cape pay-per-view, some slick shit, you know. But nah, and I seen him, I walked upon him. I ran, yo, you got a problem with me? Yo, what's up? Nothing.
Yeah, and in the vein of keeping that same energy, one thing I gotta say I respect about you is you definitely keep it real in terms of how you feel about folks. You will let them know in person as well as online. So I gotta ask you, there's been a lot of like social disrespect or people just taking liberties that I've seen in the MMA space. And I gotta ask you about this because I feel like you're gonna give me a real answer. You got Mike Perry, right? He wants to play this whole game with saying certain words and all of that. Whatever you do with your friends is your friends, but when you make it more public, it gets a little dicey, correct? Colby Covington, what he said about Brazilians. These guys are starting to take even the MAGA hat, for all intents and purposes, means something to certain people. What do you think in relation to just folks knowing that, listen, the fan base might be the fan base, but at the end of the day, we're selling a pop culture sport right now. But is this stuff cool? Do you have personal issues with any of this stuff? Or is it something you even think about in relation to, like, you know what? I want to actually bust your ass for these little indiscretions.
You know, that's a tricky space to be in because
absolutely,
it's at the end of the day, I'm not just doing this for me. I have a family that I have to support. I'm doing this to set up a line generation so my kids can be okay. And so when all these guys, that's like I said, that's the new fad. You know, it's not back in the day to where you run your mouth, I run down on you. Right. It's an issue. It's a new fad now.
I mean, shout out to Khabib.
Yeah,
he ran down on him.
Hey,
to me, the realest man in the game. He ran down on him, jumping cages in your neighborhood.
Hey, that's the thing with certain people. You can't say certain things.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And these guys are just kind of they the new fad of that. They like to run with it. You know, I don't. Me personally, you come at me, that's an issue. We got a problem. That's me. Right. You know, you can say whatever you want to say. You know, I'll have my opinion just like you have your opinion. Everybody has their opinion about it. But they're flirting the lines. They're the new school cats. Right. You know, the way now they can say stuff like that and they can get away with it. Right. You know, with Mike Perry saying this whole thing. And there's something. There's another level too. There's some people that just don't know no better.
Right.
You know, I don't think he's been one of those ones that's been educated on it to really see the history, to really know that, you know, this might be acceptable, that might not be acceptable to do.
Facts.
You know, so some people when they're, what's the word, ignorant, when they don't know any better, it's not much you can really say to them. Like, you can't argue with somebody who doesn't have any clue, have no idea, because all they can comprehend is what they think they know. So
yeah, big time. And also, you know, there's a lot of, like, people don't understand the difference between a poverty mentality and then just being informed in general in relation to the audience. So I'm going to keep it there with that because, you know, it is what it is with these cats. There's a bunch of Tekashi 6ix9ines out here. Y'all need some rainbow hairs. We see you. I want to talk about history. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't do my research, UFC 235, African-American main event and co-main event. Seems pretty awesome. And it's in the T-Mobile Arena, goddammit.
Yeah, man.
It's pretty big. Yo, how do you feel about this?
I think I was...
That's huge.
I actually looked at the flyer a couple I think it was last week. Yeah. I looked at the flyer. I was like, it's four black dudes.
It's
like,
powerful.
I don't think I'm not sure. Man. Like I said, I'm not sure if we've ever. I think Rashad and Rampage headline, but I don't know if the co-headliner was
right. It's like
I don't know if that
and the fight was good with just you and Tyron at first. So to add the other one, I was like, oh, this is strong.
Yeah, no,
but that's a testament to me also in terms of where MMA is at.
Man,
because you look at Cormier, obviously yourself, Tyron, these dudes. You guys are really leading a new wave, and now it's showing it's as profitable as well. So how do you feel being a part of this, man?
Man, I feel amazing, and not just being an African American, but being a first generation African.
That's right.
Here, so I just feel
Chicago. You're not alone, baby.
You're not alone.
He out here.
You know, so I just feel I got so much. I have so much pride in it because that's something in us in African Americans and in Africans is. Not you don't just win for you.
Absolutely.
You win, we all win.
Big time.
You know, it's a pride that we carry. And so I feel so blessed to be in that situation, to be the first African born champion. So man, I can't wait.
What's your favorite Nigerian dish, man? Mine's is peanut butter stew. What's going on?
Man,
shout out to Fufu.
Fufu is big for me, man. When I come home, my mom knows. You got to have the okra soup on deck. Nice. With fufu, that's big. Of course, rice, jollof rice. Everybody knows that. That's all. You gotta sample that at some point. Absolutely. So these are where we rock, man. It doesn't matter how old I get. Right. That's always gonna be my upbringing.
On some Nigerian shit, I gotta ask you a question. When you heard about this Jesse Smollett situation, and he hollered at the Nigerians to do the bullshit.
Hey,
where was my man Kamaru Usman at, and how was you taking this information?
That's what I'm saying.
Come on.
Like we said earlier, we hustlers.
We
hustlers, man. Hey, we trying to get it any way possible. We hustlers. So you get a celebrity that run up on us and say, "Hey, man, I got a couple thousand for y'all. I got a couple bag for you. All you gotta do, do this a little bit. Not that I know the whole situation, but man,
it's funny.
It is, but
it's crazy.
We trying to survive.
Yes,
we trying to survive, and if you come at us like, "Hey, all you gotta do is this," you ain't gotta rob, kill, and do all this. You just gotta pretend to do this.
Right.
hey man, that's a quick bag. We thinking, hey
I'm
man,
trying to
that's a
tell
quick
you.
bag. I
I'm
can
trying
run
to
off
tell
with
you.
this quick little bag, and
Yeah.
nobody know. All right,
And when the
that's
boys
it.
came, they was like, yeah, he did it. They wasn't even playing. They
I
was
ain't gonna
like,
mess,
they-
I ain't
they
gonna
like,
mess
look,
up the bag. I
I'm
just
not-
got.
yeah.
Come on now.
Look, 21 Savage, he almost got deported. We ain't playing these games.
Yeah, man. They
Shout out to Shaya bin Yamin, whatever his name is.
yeah, they came at us, man. But hey, man, at the end of the day, you know, they, like I said, I don't know the situation.
Oh, yeah,
if
it's-
he approached them like, yo, man, y'all want to do
Right.
this? Because I seriously doubt that they came to the celebrity and said,
Nah.
hey, man,
Yeah.
how about we rough you up for
Nah.
this, you know,
Yeah.
this chain? No, if he came at him. Yo,
Right.
we just trying to get the bag. That's it. All right, like, okay.
Yo, we love the Nigerian hustle.
You know, it is what
This
it
is
is,
awesome.
man.
This is
It's
legendary too, by the way.
man, we got a different hustle, man. It's something that you can't beat it.